call Jonathan Young.
Mr Speaker, I would call this bill a solution looking for a problem. Nice. That's the way I'd describe it. And, sir, with due respect to Mr Shearer, hello, Mr Cosgrove, good to see you back in the House. With due respect to Mr Shearer, and I was at that hearing when Doug Heffernan spoke, and as he did speak about some of the possibilities of what this would create, what we see is that the Electricity Authority are already putting into place mechanisms around this. So to address the concerns about transparency of consumers' electricity charges, the Electricity Authority have consulted on a proposal to require retailers and distributors to consult each other about any media releases, that is, communication to consumers, about changes to consumer charges in a distributor's area. This will require retailers to provide information to consumers about any price changes in a standard form that makes clear the nature and reasons for price changes. And so what this bill is wanting to do is to unpack all the different elements of what makes up an invoice, so people can see, well, this is the price for this is the price for that, this is all the different, usually around about 7 different components. Now, we know, and if you don't mind, I'll go back in a little bit of history, because we know that just recently the Labor Party have scotched their one power purchasing proposal. But what I want to read out is a response to that, and I'm not doing this for political reasons. I'm just doing it for information for the consumers out there, and they need to hear it, because Mr Heffernan has been quoted as a great supporter of this idea, Mr Shearer, and this is what he said back in August a year ago. He said, Mighty River Power Chief Executive Doug Heffernan, this is the quote from Mighty River Power, their press release, says the official data from the industry regulator, that's the Electricity Authority, and audited results reported by major power companies this week tell a very different story of a highly competitive market with a flat to declining energy prices. That's why I say this is a solution looking for a problem. Because what we're already seeing is that this highly competitive market, where we have nearly got over-generation, is seeing, we've seen for a number of years now, the flattening of prices and even the dropping of prices of energy charges. And if we look at the componentry of what makes up a charge, and they've gone up, Mr Shearer will know that we have gone through an incredible rebuild of Transpower's national grid. And if I could just read out a comment and a quote from the Auditor General's report on Transpower. It says this, and this is going back to June 2008, which is when the previous government were in power. It says, in June 2008, Transpower commissioned an independent review of its maintenance practices and spending, sir. Discussions with staff from both Transpower and the contractors revealed a workforce that was innovative in their approach to solving problems. Fantastic. All right, congratulations. This has been driven mainly by a need to keep operational an aged asset base, as little asset replacement has been undertaken on a broad basis in the last decade. 2008, so that's the tail end of national government and all of a Labor government, there was very little asset replacement. So since then to now, about $5 billion have been invested in Transpower, and as an SOE, obviously there is a need for a return on that level of investment. So we know that when prices have increased, and half the increase under National, what Labor gave us, we know that all of this, most of it, let's say, has been generated by the upgrade of assets regarded by Transpower. All right? Look, there's going to be a Transpower fee in every retail bill. Every retail bill. Why don't you just come out and say, do a press release and say, Mr Shearer, okay, this year this is what the Transpower cost is going to be, end of story. Instead, you want to create a very complicated mechanism. You want to find a solution for a problem that doesn't exist, because what we are seeing is a very competitive, cost-effective market that is working with 26 retailers out there competing for the consumer. All right, and we are in a great place, and we just need to see this continue to grow and develop, sir. Thank you.